For sure, sound check. So guys, we have Supreme Leader with us today, and gonna talk about some cool stuff, what he's been looking at. And I'm gonna talk about what I've been looking at as well. And I'll go ahead and just start. And
I feel like I'm gonna get a bit smarter. I feel like I learned a lot. From that, I was also thinking, I could kind of very easily link this into some more points where, you're talking about, all this, layer 1, layer 2 smart contract protocols and things like that. Layer 0 is all on BTC, and I feel like it would be worth just mentioning very quickly that the two big ones on ETH, which being Optimism and Arbitrum. Only Optimism has. Can you share screen?
Yeah, let me see if I can do that.
Yeah, only Optimism has a token right now. I'll show you guys the NFTs. I'll just wait for this to come through. Just dumped today. Yeah, it's great to get that up. Yeah, really. So Optimism, they're kind of. We have changed screens, but not the right screen yet. We're getting there. Please stand by.
Yeah, getting there.
Please stand by. Very shortly. So yeah, Optimism, Arbitrum are. So Optimism, if you use it, if you vote on things in governance, which is something that you should always do. If you always hold like a very small amount of DeFi coins, just staked in the relevant protocols, just so I can vote in governance and hopefully get airdrops. Because people, they do seem to mark your wallets if you do stuff like that. So yeah, really same thing on Optimism. Get in the protocols, you stake a little bit of the token, and you vote on governance proposals. So Optimism, there's a few out there. You just go and look up a list of stuff on Optimism. I'm still on the Optimism price chart. We can't move off that. For Arbitrum, like I'll show you, they haven't done theirs yet, but you can buy. They were going to do like this NFT thing where you go and do a certain amount of things in Arbitrum, and then you get an NFT for it, and then maybe in the future that NFT, if you get all the NFTs, collect them all, you can get an airdrop. And they did it one time, and there's one NFT that's out there, and then when they were doing like the second you do all this or whatever, they decided that they weren't going to do it because it took too much strain on the network because too many people were doing it to farm these NFTs, which is quite funny. So yeah, I'll show you guys when we've got screen share up.
Sorry, dude, I'm trying to do this here, but I don't. Can you try to reshare? Because I'm not seeing it from this.
Yeah, man.
From Zoom. See if you can.
What's my Zooms?
Does it show on your side that you're sharing screen?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, I can just talk. We don't have touch screen share. Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. But I can always tell you what to go and find. I'll send you the links.
That works.
We'll get it working somehow, don't worry. So, hope everyone's okay. What's everyone up to? It's very hot here. Got a fan on in the background. Slowly fanning me. But otherwise, a nice summer afternoon. Working on morning. Tends to be work in the evenings because it's just so hot. And first thing in the morning, and then siesta, as they do in Spain. Or, alternatively go on stream with MintpalGhost, talk about stuff like NFTs. I can just send you the links.
Yeah, just do that, man, because I can't find it. Freaking Zoom.
Right, send you some stuff. So this Optimism on CoinGecko. Okay, cool. So MintpalGhost is hopefully going to get this. I'll send some links, so hopefully we can get those up on the stream, and we can talk about some stuff. So you're really, what MintpalGhost said was really good. Like you've also got layer 0. So we talked about Arbitrum and Optimism. You've also got the layer 0s like Celestia, Stargate Finance, and there's a few others there. Maybe Bridges want to call themselves those zeros. I don't really know, but I'd say those are the ones that I definitely thought were those zeros. So you've got all them as well, which is quite nice. And really, what MintpalGhost said at the end of his thing, which I think was really nice, is the market isn't going anywhere, and I think that was so key for me. And what you said is just like there's so much time and endless opportunities, set out before you, and I'm buzzing with excitement every day because it's just like, oh, what's going to happen today? What am I going to find? What am I going to research? How am I going to get smarter? So like I think that's really key, is to have that kind of market isn't going anywhere mindset, and look for like the best stuff, best stuff out there. And in terms of like coins, because for me, like, coins are now their own thing, and there's certain problems with kind of the fully diluted values and the market caps of a lot of the stuff where like VCs have got in very cheap, that they're quite happy to just dump at multiples of what they paid it, and that's going to take time to like wash through. And you've got other things like blocks and whatever. So all of these things kind of combine, within the coin market to put some kind of, like, let's say constraints, but some pretty significant variables that you'd have to be in these markets you'd have to be aware of, are actually happening. So really, when you take that mindset, you're kind of looking for like the best of the best, and how to find the stuff that the communities and the teams that actually do build in the bear market. So with that in mind, we're going to talk about a big one because it's the most obvious. And MintPal, can you get up the next thing I sent you?
You may be able to control. See if you can control the cursor.
I cannot.
I gave you remote control, man. Fuck Zoom, man.
Really?
Zoom.
Let me try again. Okay. Can I do it? Okay, I can't do anything. Okay.
That's all right.
That's cool. Okay, cool. So I mean, this is like the the next thing. The big one is it's really the Solana phone. And why this is important is like I think we've crossed the Rubicon in terms of like technology now. Like Pete, I always remember like at the height of like November, I went down to the rugby club, all playing rugby, and some of them had coins, but a lot of them had NFTs, right? And they'd all known someone who'd done like really well on NFTs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that just that happening, like just from just going down and having a drink and watching some rugby, it's quite interesting because I think that's crossing the Rubicon of what people are prepared to put their money into. And why the Solana saga is so interesting is because it just gives another tool to people to be able to do that that's easier than the other, how they did it before. You see what I'm saying? Like this phone makes you buy an NFT, like do DeFi, store your currency, Solana Pay, you can pay for your stuff. You basically got all the stuff that you want to do financially in a phone, day to day. And the more people, like I said, who have already crossed that Rubicon and are prepared to do that, that creates more use, makes it easier, and those things end up increasing adoption. So that's why I think the Solana saga is so great because, like I can't wait for it. I'm just like, yes, I'm going to be able to live on my entire phone. Like, I'm use Solana pay for everything, and literally just like live on my phone. So it's kind of, this is effectively like the unbanking moment for the people who get into stuff like this early. So yeah, Solana saga is is huge in my opinion. But like Mint said, and whatever, the market isn't going anywhere. So this is what Q1. I mean, we could say like all the way up to the end of like March that it wasn't going to come out, right? So we've got all this time until this happens, and I get my saga, and we use it, and we'll see how good it is. So, but that's what I'm saying.
Sure.
Like, if that comes true, and the saga's decent, I use it a lot, then that's kind of adoption or whatever, and that would be a big sign for Solana for me. as like a, in the future, at long term, like I said, who are the communities and the teams are going to carry around building, and it makes me think Solana will be one of them, and it will still be there. So I'd always be, very interested in Solana and that. So if we take, I just want to look at like two things on Solana, because like I just said earlier, you want to be looking at like the best of breed. And, for me, taking a kind of NFT centric look on Solana, like there's not really that much. There's some PFPs that are quite expensive. There's, a lot of like generative prints and stuff. There's not really any digital art, but what there is a lot of on Solana is GameFi NFTs and gamified NFTs. So really like that's the kind of area like that I would like to look at, because you're getting a phone, right, that is all Solanified, right? It's like, what are you going to do? Like I said, you're going to do all these things, you're going to play games as well, right? So therefore, I'm looking at that because I think like the Solana PFPs, I think you just have to go with the classic. I think it's fine if you put in new stuff, you could get wrecked, because we'll talk about NFTs in a minute, right? But I think that's that. So really, like when we look at a lot of like the games, on Ethereum as well, and also, sorry, just get a next link for you. When we look at like, all the games, even on, Ethereum and Solana, we look at like, how, what kind of rating are they? Like, what's their development? And there's a lot of like AAA games on both chains that are coming out, and essentially like the layer 2s and whatever. And there is, like I said, there's a lot of them coming out, but they're going to take years to develop. Like as a traditional, game studio would take, up to 3 years to make a AAA rated game.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that's happening, but it's happening way in the future. So really, in terms of like now, what's happening right now, and what's the furthest along in its development, and really like out of everything that I've kind of seen out there, there's really only like 2, maybe 3, arguably, who are close to being played, on a kind of grand Axie scheme of last year, right? And so I just send it quickly. So really, this is, I looked at like, if you just pull this link out, I looked at like a lot of stuff, and the big one for me is, just waiting for it to come up on the stream. I'll send you 2 links now. So really it's Aurora, right? And hopefully video is still on the stream. Right? So Aurora is quite interesting in that.
There we go.
Here we go. So really, in terms of like I said, the teams that build and whatever, throughout the bear market. You scroll down a bit, if that's possible. So this game is kind of like, I've been playing in the, I don't know, closed beta or whatever they want to call it, or closed alpha, I can't remember what it's called. I've been playing in closed beta, and it kind of reminds me of when you were playing Pokemon, like the Game Boy, Pokemon Red and Blue and then Yellow, and all those old kind of games. It reminded me of that. You get these random encounters, you're going down to get encounters, things like that, and like it's kind of like a grid-based game. So you have your little like nefties that you can. Oh no, we're not allowed in.
It's delayed. I refreshed it.
Oh, okay, cool. So like, it's a grid-based game. You have these things called nefties, and you have your Aurorians and your tacticians, but really like going like into the core of the actual game is there's another 2 token system, Tokay and Oka, and I'm gonna get them the wrong way around now. Oh my god, this is gonna be embarrassing. Okay, so if you hold an Aurori or nefties, which are the little Pokemons you battle with on the grid square. So if you have them, you can get I'm going to say it's Oka, right? So you get the Oka token, right? And you can, that's your play to earn token. And you sell that for USD. If you don't have those things and you're a free to play player, you get another token called Toke, right?
Okay.
So it's got a really like interesting new system coming out. On top of that, they got a land sale that's coming out soon. I'm pretty sure that land sale is going to be in Rory. And yeah, just playing this game, it's just the best out of everything that I've seen. If there's something better, I'd love to see it. At this stage in development, I just feel like that this right now is it, and it kind of makes me think of when you look at Mint Source obviously is watching and whatever, being in games anyway. Like when we look at like Axie and how rubbish Axie was, because it is rubbish, right? And then you look at this, you feel like that in terms of a nascent industry, that that was 1.0, and now comes 2.0, and what's going to be the big leader of 2.0, and then next year we have the 3.0 stuff, the games that are further on, and then 4.0 and 5.0 and whatever, until we get to the standard of blockchain games that's like AAA rated, which are the ones they're building now. They're going to be out like 2 to 3 years in the future.
Right.
So I feel like it will kind of be like that. So it'll take a few 0.0 iterations to get up, but really like for the 2.0 iteration, actually still pretty huge market caps. So this industry's this segment of the market is very interesting. So really, Aurora, very cool, very awesome, and as a final bit of alpha, like I said, you go and look at the 1.0 this time last year, what the 1.0 was doing, and then you go and look at the 2.0 and what the 2.0 is doing this year. Go and look at those charts and have a look. So let's move on. The other thing is Bonfire, right? And if you could just move over to the next one. So basically, Bonfire is like ENS is for Ethereum. And like I said, if we had this adoption play on Solana, like we want the dot sols like you want the dot ETH, right? And they're significantly cheaper. They're actually have increased in price significantly. I remember like I bought a bunch in October, I think. Here we go. This one's a good one. MintpalGhost.sol, 845. What's that, like $300? You need to buy this one. If anyone swipes this, I think it's absolutely hilarious. But yeah, so you can get your dot sols. You can get them for like $50. But there's stuff that I bought for like $20 in October that is now worth like $500, $600, $700, $800. It minimum.
That's crazy.
And that's the thing, that these are in like a huge crazy bull market. And like I said, the ENS ones are insanely expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got like 6 or 7 ENS ones, but they're more personal. They weren't like mega rare ones. But on this, let's do a little search. What if you search for Subverto? See how much Subverto.sol is. So you just bid on them. There's a lot out there. It's just a crazy bull market, and it's just stuff like this that if you can get good ones for cheap, scale the marketplace, do good searches, you can pick up a bunch of these. And once again, like I said, this is a raging bull market, and that's what I say about unlimited opportunities. Just they're everywhere. They're literally everywhere. So yeah, that's really like, I feel that's me and MintpalGhost went through this thing. We did the thing where it's like we're going to talk about 4 things. And I was like, okay, so this is all my 4 things, and we've just done number 1. So it's gonna be a long stream. So
it's all right.
Okay, so what's that, like $15 or something?
Yeah, that's cheap.
Yeah. So and yeah, if you can go like search for like a list. I don't know. I can't remember. Like, I'll just look on one actually. If you click browse domains, that's it. You click browse domains and then filters. You can like filter to the emojis and the rare ones. So that's what I do. Like, I just go and I'd filter between them and try and find like decent ones to buy. Yeah, you got 13 hours left on MintpalGhost, dude. Don't let anyone outbid you for $300. So yeah. Okay, cool. That's that. Let's move on to other stuff. So we talked let's talk about Solana games. So okay, so NFTs, right? NFTs, mega interesting. So like what it reminds me, I think like you'll feel the same, like going back to like 2014. You know, like for me, 2014 was the test pump, right? Because it was the thing. It's like, oh, this has arrived, you know, it's here. You know, do what you will. And you know, like MintpalGhost will say, like looking back on those days, you know, between that range between like 315 and 180 or like 160 or whatever. That was like brutal. that went on for so long. You know, absolutely forever. But the market cap at that time was what, like 4 to 6 billion, something like that. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, I don't even remember the market cap. I don't even know if I looked
you
at
can
market
look
cap
it up,
back then.
if you just go to total, you can look it up. So you know, like if you want to check that out, you can.
Yeah.
So you know, but if I just send you this next, I sent you the so I sent NFT price for, and basically the total market cap of all NFTs on this website is 5.7 billion, right? I feel like that this, you know, this is either this is very early, and this is a true emerging like thing with NFTs right now, because and the thing is, it's like what I think is really interesting is that, you know, MintpalGhost once again can attribute to this, but you know, the stuff that survived from 2014 and really like gigapumped is like I said ETH. It was just like the ICO, it wasn't retradable. But we'll say ETH. What Doge, Ripple did all right, I guess. Like, you know, it still went up. It wasn't a crazy performer. What else? What else survived?
Dash
from 2014.
I mean,
Dash kind of. You know, like, but the things that like, you know, mega pumped. So you know, really like those are the key ones. So a lot of what in the NFT there is in the NFT market right now, you know, may not be what it looks like in 2 years. So that once again is unlimited opportunity, right? You know, like where's the real money gonna flow to?
sure.
And like we discussed earlier with Solana, you know, now we're really looking at Ethereum. Like I said, Solana has its own NFT thing, but really it's more about games, and the PFPs are quite terrible, really. Like they're worth a lot of money and they're really rubbish. But some of the old stuff like Solana Monkey Business is legit, right? So yeah, really it's the same kind of thing. It's like now we've talked about Solana and now we move on to Ethereum, because that's really like where all the NFT action is. You know, and obviously Solana has its own little thing as well. So the thing is, I've said this now, all the terrible PFPs on Solana will go up, and I'll be really disappointed that it's terrible and I didn't buy them, right? But still, looking at NFT price for, you know, really, if we go back to what we said about Solana, if we're looking at like 3 different segments, look at like the PFPs, we look at the gamefi assets, you know, and we look at gamefi assets and digital art, and also metaverse land, right? So the metaverse projects in Solana are okay, they'll probably do okay, but really the big metaverse projects are on Ethereum. You know, so like looking at that, and you know, what's the most interesting thing? I think the thing that has the real staying power out of all of those is digital art, and I don't think that exists on Solana, but it does on Ethereum and Tezos as well to a certain extent in terms of like, you know, diversity and real artists. But the really expensive stuff and the real volume is on Ethereum. So right, that's really like where we're looking, and that's what's attracted a lot of bid value, because and I think over time the sets and the artists that they're from, you know, will kind of come into the foray, and they're going to be the stuff that's worth the big bucks. Which once again is and there is opportunity. So I've also just kind of maybe staying away. If I just show you a few things, I'll just send you some stuff quickly, dude.
Sure.
Hold on. I should have had this up already. My bad.
It's all right.
But
You know I bought some digital, like, actual art from NFT Basel in Miami in November, just as just like, just sort of a preservation. I like the piece, and this guy he had other stuff that went for a lot more, and it was like, shit, nobody's bidding on this, so I just went for it, and we'll see.
Yeah, man. I think I sent you three things. I think there's so much choice out there. When it comes to digital art, really, a lot of the big stuff is very easy to find, but there's so much other stuff that's so cool. So really, I just rattle through the three I've just sent you. So this one is GM token. So basically, they have, once again, you're going to have to go and do your research on this, guys. Like if you really want all the alpha. GM Dare token. Basically, it's like an art blocks in that it has artists and they do generative pieces and whatever. They're doing a snapshot for their own DAO. It's very interesting. This one's one of the brain drops that we did. This is moving today, and there's not very many of them for sale. So if you're in that mint for the brain drops, this is one to check out, because there's literally nothing for sale.
Quantum, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, sorry, Quantum. No, that's Sites by Artemis.
Or you're talking about GM?
No, I'm talking. I was talking about Sites by Artemis. I've done GM.
Gotcha.
And the other one was Quantum Key. So Quantum Key again, once again, it's like GM, whatever. There's some pretty interesting guys behind this, but you hold a key, and once again, lots of artists and they mint stuff. So that's kind of like the mid layer that there's stuff around there. We just mentioned three platforms that aren't art blocks, right? Because like I said, art blocks easy. You can just go onto NFT Price Floor and you can find stuff on art blocks, right? It's easy. But this is the stuff that you want to go looking for. So you've got Sites by Artemis is like from Braindrops, which once again it's like an art blocks AI art. You've got GM Dare token, and you've got Quantum Key. So there's three other good alternatives art blocks that harder to find, and you can go and check out all the different collections of all those, and hopefully find some alpha. So that's that. And then I say two more things, right? So from digital art, that's our digital art section, right? Because like I said, the big stuff is easy. You don't need my help to go and find that, right? So the other stuff is it's just an idea I had. I mean, I'm not like super confident in it, but like I like the idea of a trend. And what the trend is that we have these like digital identities, right? Within the metaverse, that are going to become more prevalent as we, as time goes on. And really, at the moment, we have these PFPs, and like I remember seeing on Twitter that some guy was like, he was like, I sold my ape and I've lost my online identity, and the thing was, it was just so tragic, but it was just so true that these PFPs do become online identity, and like moving from digital art into PFPs now. Like one trend I can see is like it's really interesting in terms of PFPs is that we're going to be more living in like the metaverse. Like our PFPs are going to be like our metaverse identity as well. So kind of moving on to like VTuber, because it's just so huge at the moment, like, and has been for a significant amount of years. So when you get onto like that you can VTube with your as your NFT, that's interesting. And really there's like three for me, and one of them, if there's any watching, is going to severely enjoy this, because we're going to talk about one in particular detail. is really Anata. If you can type Anata in there, find that one. Anata, you know, like I think there are like 1,000 to get one. You get one, get a Feminata. Yeah, like I said, they have a DAO, they have, you know, a load of capital, you know, and they're constantly bringing out new things for new Anata holders. So I think that's interesting. The other one's CloneX. Once again, that's quite a big one. It's like on the top. It's top 10 of NFT price floor. Yeah, number 6 on NFT price floor. Yeah, so they're a big one as well. Like that's they're starting to release that, and they've got their own metaverse. And
Oh wow, that's really cool. I'm
so
looking at Anata.
yeah, Anata. So I've only just worked out how to use my Anata, but because they've got like a really cool hologram studio, so I'm gonna start using that a bit more. So it's well cool. So there's that, and then there's CloneX. Yeah, like I said, number 6 on NFT price floor, so easy to find. And then the other one is Milady, you know, which hasn't released anything yet. But what I like about Milady than what we've previously discussed is like nothing goes up without a little bit of hate, and people seems that the apes really seem to hate Miladies, and I just feel like apes have pumped so much that, you know, there's room to siphon capital, and that hate from apes actually draws the money into Miladies, right? And you know, they, you know, just imagine, like I was just saying about a virtual identity and whatever, and like you can be your Anata and you can be your CloneX, right? And you can, you know, be your Milady. You know, suddenly you have these entire like online personas that these NFTs are, you know, effectively selling you, right? So Miladies, you've now got banners for your Twitter that they release as like a, you know, drops Milady holders, and you know, soon you'll have your Milady, and you also have your Milady as like a, you know, VR avatar, as it were. So I think, yeah, that's why those are so interesting. All of those to me in terms of PFPs, because it's not like I said, I think if you bought an 8, like, yeah, it can go up, but they've gone up so much already. It's easy to find the stuff, like I said, the stuff that, you know, can, you know, still be alive and still be relevant. So, you know, I'm actually not buying the ladies right now, but like, I think if they went down, I'd buy more. I don't think that it's, once again, this comes back to what I was saying earlier about like having the teams, you know, they're going to build through the bear winter, and they will build. So they're one of them. So that's that. I think that's all of that one we're going to talk about. Okay, cool. So I think the okay, so the other thing I'm going to send you just right now, one more kind of very interesting project is Parallel, and there's other stuff like Treeverse and whatever, but Parallel actually has an event right now that effectively it allows you to price the cards, right? So I'll let MintpalGhost coming out. When you get it up, dude, go to Paraset's top right hand corner. So yeah, really what Parallel is, yeah, it's kind of like a, you know, like a metaverse kind of thing. Like people can, it's like a central backbone that like people can build like different games and stuff around. And really like that backbone is around the card game. You know, this has, if you go to Parasets up there, yeah, you've got a list. So like of all of the Parasets, and really like the first kind of like rounds with this particular art set, all the pack drops, they're done, right? So this is all that there is going to be of these Parasets. Oh, it's a tab, dude. Did you see it? It's a tab. I'm looking on delayed.
Yeah. I'm there. It's just delayed.
It's delayed. Oh, cool. Yeah. So like, so you've got all these like different Parasets, and what's actually happening now is called the caching, and right, and this is genius, right? It's not, they've changed staking. You're not staking, you're caching, right? Because staking, you stake your coins, you cache your NFTs, right? And what caching is staking your NFTs and getting Prime, which is their token. So really, the way you get these is you have these Parasets, which are like amounts of cards. I mean, I think you can click on them, click on the links. like click on the top one, the pre-sale 15.
Yeah.
You know, and you can see all the cards and where to buy them and stuff like that. You know, but so there's a grace period. I think it's like 7 days, so everyone can cash, and then it will start emitting prime. So we can actually work out APRs on these cards. And what's really interesting as well is, you know, something DCM told me, you know, with this is that when you're, you know, when you're playing the game, when you're playing the card game, right, is you get like points. I think they're called victory points or whatever. And you know, there's different sets of points you get for when you play a card, and you can use that to basically make more versions of the card. But I think they're non-NFTs, right? So what they allow is like players, you know, to enter the game with those cards at a lower price point, because they're not NFTs, so they're worth a lot less. That's what I'm saying. It's like if you have these Genesis cards, as it were, these Genesis sets,
Yeah.
you get prime, but also when you play the game, you get more non-NFT cards that other people can use. But you know, so it means that the game isn't just set at this amount of users. You can have more users coming in at a much lower price point.
Right.
Yeah, and to get that, you need to, you know, you're going to get physicals as well of all these cards. Yeah, there's a lot of, yeah, and the prices, they haven't moved that much from, you know, the dead lows of some of the cheap stuff. So yeah, if you can get fills on this, like I said, we're going to be we're going to have all these, you know, you're going to get these extra NFTs playing the game, you're going to get prime, you're going to get physicals. Yeah, it feels like very early and something incredibly special. You know, and there's like, if you just look at like collectors, I mean, the thing is there's like some bugs in the priming, but so some people have got some epic card collections. It's really insane. So yeah, that's I think that's the kind of everything I want to say on NFTs. You know, just break it down into different sections. You know, the PFPs and digital art and metaverse lands. You remember Aurora has a metaverse land thing coming up. So yeah, all these different areas, and you know, try and find the best stuff and try and get in it. And like I said, the market's not going anywhere. If prices go down, just buy more. I'm quite happy with that. It's like, yes, very very interesting parallel.
So
Parallel thoughts.
yeah, this one looks really cool. I mean, you'd mentioned it. I think a week before last. We talked about it, and I took a look. Looks really cool. You know, it's something where you can kind of, you know, like a lot of this when I look at it, it looks like a rich man's game in some ways. You know, like for some of these, you know, where it's multiple Ethereum per NFT, but for something like Parallel, I mean, you can chip away at some of these sets, and you know, before you
Yeah.
know it, you got a complete set, and you know you can cash them, and it's pretty cool. It's an evolving landscape, and it's changing so fast. I mean, it's so crazy. Like just looking at like what some of the stuff that you covered, and then thinking about like some of the stuff where I'm talking about these layer projects on Bitcoin. It's just it's kind of night and day. It's like that stuff's early, but it's almost in some ways kind of boomer-esque, and like this stuff is just super advanced, and it's just this realm is moving so fast. It feels like it's moving fast, but at the same time, you know, there's no rush, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, if they go down, we buy more. I just think Parallel's interesting because we're going to find out how much it's worth. So, yeah, that gives me a way to kind of, you know, justify buying more Parasets. So yeah, I think that's all I really have to say on NFTs and whatever. And I think there's just like some other trends as well. I just wanted to mention quickly. So obviously, like I said, we're going to have, you know, GameFi 1.0 last year, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. You know, and like with the Solid phone or whatever, everything's coming together to, you know, games to be the next adoption level metric, you know, into it. So you know, that's one trend, and we just discussed that like basically to death. Well, not to death, but in insufficient detail.
Sure.
So the other stuff I really want to talk about is I think Urbit as well. Like I'll just send this to you. because I want to talk about shitpost earn, because I think that's it's going to take a while. Definitely by the next Giga cycle, um, it's going to be fleshed out. I guess there's the one on BSV as well. I just sent you 3 links. So Urbit is really interesting in that it's kind of, yeah, it is what it says it is. It's like a clean slate OS. It's literally so perfect to describe what it is. You know, and it's going to have lots of upgrades in autumn, yeah, that are going to make it better. And I think like what you need to do is you need to go on OpenSea, you need to spend like $50, get yourself an Urbit planet, and then you know, just Google some guides and just, you know, it's actually on the website, all the stuff you need to get involved. And like I just set up a virtual machine, you know, with Amazon, and you know, just have my Urbit planet just running, you know, in there, you know, all the time, so I can always, you know, always be connected to, and yeah, like use that. Just see what like the next kind of iteration of blockchains and whatever, like yeah, Web4, you know, stuff like that. Just like seriously, because it will be big in the future. Definitely go and check out Urbit. It's going to cost you about $50, and you know, a little bit more to just go and have a little play around. So
Cool.
yeah, and then the other 2, I don't know if you got them up, but just talk about shitpost earn, and really there's like 3. So going back to our ETH and Sol centric view, you know, because they have all of the, you know, things that we, you know, kind of want on them, NFT markets and DeFi and stuff like that. So really look at those 2. I think the first one is Lens. So this is from RV. Stanley at RV, the Ghosts. You know, and it's their attempt at decentralized Twitter. That will only get better in the future. It's the point where we can, you know, leverage long and, you know, short sell the rise of influencers. So people like, you know, the Moon Carl and BitBoy will be shorted and longed by people. So that will happen, like I said, in the future. That's a big one, and they're really for Solana is social. You know, they are also doing the same thing on Solana, and yeah, I've been really impressed. Like you can use a little bit of Lens social route in the future, but yeah, once again, just get you know, get a handle. You know, once again, I think for Lens it cost me like $70 or something. Like I had to do something, I had to buy something, and then I got a free Lens thing. So yeah, you know, do whatever you need to do to, you know, to get a handle and get in early, and like I said, get on, use them. So you kind of got like, you know, Urbit, you know, to me is, you know, kind of like a Discord. Like I think in the future, like versions of Subverto could be on Urbit. Like I think that's the front runner right now, and obviously in the future it's like where things change. You know, it could be something else, but I think right now, if you were going to say like, if you were going to say we needed a viable alternative to Discord, I think, you know, in the next, you know, 6 to, you know, 12 months, it could be on Urbit, and you could move it fully to Urbit and effectively run all your what would you call it? All your revenue and, you know, memberships and stuff all through that. So it will be possible. So yeah, really, that's quite interesting. And then I think the last thing, I think
Socio.
no, yeah. So I've already. It's just once again, it's just
Lens.
you know, decentralized Twitter on uncensored Twitter.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I think I've covered everything I need to cover, dude.
That's cool stuff, man. You know, one thing that it's kind of struck me about the Saga phone, they're basically taking all of this stuff that we have so painstakingly had to do, you know, over the years to ensure, you know, account security and basically just OPSEC, right? Like all of this stuff, they're kind of, they've created this phone that will allow users to leapfrog all of that, which is absolutely necessary for adoption, right? I mean, it's just like the old school days of command line wallets, where that's how you had to custody everything, dump your private keys, and it wasn't for the
Native heart.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it was not. And some people that got in last year, a friend was telling me how hard something was. I was like, yeah, it may seem that way, but you have no idea. But now, we're even skipping that stuff, and it's just going to be, right there. And this is how adoption sort of happens, and it's pretty cool that Solana's doing this. I mean, this is going to open up the doors for so many other things. So this is the time to pay attention and take the snapshot of where we are with things right now. And whether it's looking at like Aurora and the snapshot of them relative to the other games. I mean, this is how you find trends early, because I mean, look at where they are and versus some of these other projects. And like you said, Axie is like, yeah, they just have first mover advantage in effect at this point.
Yeah, they had no competitors that were sufficient development. So
yeah, so it's an
I
important...
think Treeverse is an interesting one as well, because that's also going to be mobile, but once again, it's in the future, right?
Yeah.
So there's, like I said, there's so many opportunities. There's just so many cool things that they're going to come out, and opportunities to make money. So yeah, you can definitely make money in bear markets and bull markets. It doesn't matter. There's always stuff out there. There's always stuff moving. There's always people pumping stuff, and yeah. So like just to like kind of, I actually think I didn't recap my point. Is that you look at like, so from when we were in this industry, and you look at the market cap was like 6 billion or whatever, and you look at what it is now, it's 700, 800, I can't remember. Billion.
835.
835. Yeah. So, when it's it's grown so much, you just look at NFTs and you kind of think it has the kind of the retail capture, and it has different segments, and it's just so early that some of the stuff that right now could. The thing is, it's like if we're still talking about how shit apes are on this show in 2 years, apes have won, right? They've literally won, right? Because they've achieved sticking power and being Lindy, and I think that's what it really comes down to. Is like, what's going to be Lindy for such a small market cap to grow exponentially in the future? What's going to be the Lindy that's going to capture the most of that value growth? And that's what's just so exciting, and such a incredible opportunity for people who are really willing to do the work. And like, you can be so patient with it. Like, I have a joke with my friends, we're like, we are now the bidors. We never buy, we just bid. and I think that's so true. It's like, like you want to own something, and you're like, what is a good price point for me to own this? And you wait for someone to FOMO dump into you, and it's just free money. And last night, as we went down to the lows, someone FOMO dumped a grail on my bids, and I was so happy. So, like for me, like I will now hold that grail for, like for a long period of time. That's what I'm saying. Is like you have such opportunities, and that was a huge one, and a massive loss to this other guy. Whoever sold it to me is gonna massively regret it in the future. So, that's what I said. There's just so much opportunity, and go out there, do the work, find it, and you'll be successful and be possible.
Good stuff, man. Well, speaking of making money, I wanted to show a chart here to sort of finish things up. I have no idea what CWeb is. That maybe somebody out there can enlighten us with more, but this chart looks pretty damn tasty to me. Immediately when I saw this, I thought of Haven, back in the day.
What is CoinWeb? I must know.
I don't know. I was actually looking for D-Web because I've heard some good things about D-Web. And C-Web came up, and of course, as you know,
CoinWeb.
as any good degenerate, we got to follow up on these things.
Oh man, that chart looks sick. Yeah, the stuff that, because I feel like coins are there, like I have my mind that's so compartmentalized. It's like NFTs and coins, right? And there's two totally different investment strategies. And when you find something like this that's a coin, and I switch into coin trader mode,
Yeah.
like, because that's how I run my brain. So when I see something like this, when like everything's like, taking liquidity at local lows, and it's not dumping, and it looks like it can go up, it's such a no-brainer. It really is.
So, for sure, this fractal is somewhat of a fractal. I didn't piece it out, like a normal fractal, but you can kind of see, you know.
Yeah.
I know we have a delay here, but
No, I can see it. I saw it.
so looking at Haven, you can kind of see that last point where it sort of dumped, made a new low, all-time low, and what you can't see is that the list low was in April 2018, and it was at like 50 cents for Haven, and it went below this in September 2019, and it was almost like a kind of like a high time frame SFP. Went below it for 28 days, and then it mooned by like, it's like 10x. So it's just like a bear market. This is sort of a quintessential bear market pump, in my opinion. I mean, it pulled back probably to like, the 0.61 or so on the Fibonacci, maybe 0.5. And you look at CoinWeb, and we have some targets here right around. I mean, the 0.382 is at 0.0859 cents, so like 8.5 cents, which is, that's basically, that's like a 5x from where we are. And if we were to go up to the golden pocket up around the 0.618, there's a big daily block up there, order block. That would be 12x from the lows. So similar to the Haven pump. And let me just get back to this. Yeah, so assuming that just in late April was sort of the dump into the new low for CoinWeb, new all-time low, then has pulled back up. Liquidity's been absorbed, like you said. Now it's looking pretty sweet. It doesn't have to manifest this way, but it's enough for me to look at that and say, all right, I'll put some bids down on this, and it could be easy money. But just one more thing I wanted to show here for Haven. You can see in 2019, after the the 10x pump, it corrected massively and made new lows for this 525-day range, and that was the bear market. So the important thing is to take profit and be patient. Supreme, you still there?
Yeah, man. I'm here. No, it looks good.
Thought I'd lost you, but
I was just looking at the gigapump with Halo. To be honest.
Yeah. So this I think this is the last slide here. 99% correction. Going into the bear market in 2019, this is on Haven. And this is Haven's the one that actually I researched early on, and was pretty bullish on it, and then there was a lot of FUD around it. it exchanged hands. The original developer basically just left. He rugged the project. And then, you know, some new guys picked it up, and you can see it went from, you know, when something survives after 99%, that's where you can see these. I mean, that's a 381x from bottom to top.
That's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, so anyhow, but there's plenty of time. You can see the time in between. If C-Web does something similar like this, I mean, you know, I'll be looking for the, you know, taking some profit off all the way up, and you know, if it does get to 10x, I'll have a minute amount left. So we'll see.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Well, cool, man. Appreciate you coming on and sharing the alpha today. And
I'm glad no one's here, to be honest. Like, that's pure information for the people who are here. I think pretty much, you know, 2 of them are Kevin and Source, so they know most of this already. So it's just a recap for them.
Well, that's cool. And actually, I want to say I'm actually going on somewhat of a journey myself. I don't know, you could call it different things, but basically I'm not going to be around for a while. And I will be back. I don't know when, but it's been a crazy basically 5 years I've been grinding it. And I'm just going to take a little trip, take a little journey, have some time away. And you know, I'll see you guys on the flip side. And yeah, Supreme, like I said, appreciate you coming on today. And cheers, everyone. See you around.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me. We all. Okay, so
Yeah.